Well, joining us every Tuesday morning at this time for a talk about the world of gold and silver and coins and diamonds and collectibles and watches and all that real fun stuff. Always great to catch up with our good friend, Barry Blank from National Estate Jewelry Buyers in East Brunswick, who is not exactly in town this morning. Barry, is that correct? And good morning. You're out of town today?
Yeah, well, with the wind chill factor, it's 62 degrees here.
Ooh. I like that.
That sounds cold, doesn't it?
It does.
Sound cold?
You know, spring gets here tomorrow, Barry. You didn't have to go to Florida to get warm weather.
Yeah, well, I'm actually in Boca, and it's 64 degrees with a wind chill factor of 62 degrees.
Oh, that wind is just bringing that temperature right down. Right. Business, pleasure? What brings you to the Sunshine State this week?
A little bit of both, actually. A very dear friend of mine, Dan, and his fiancée, Carrie, got married.
Oh.
And that was one thing. And I delivered a Rolex watch to another client.
Nice.
And I showed a pair of diamonds for somebody else to get engaged to down here. And this is a senior couple that wants to get married, and they only want to deal with me because they didn't feel comfortable with the people they were meeting in the diamond jewelry field.
What an honor that is! Wow.
So,
nice, good for you. Did you ask Dan how much he spent on the engagement ring? Because the rule of thumb is that you should spend 3 months' salary, Barry. That's absolutely true, isn't it?
Absolutely baloney. But I love it. Actually, Dan bought his ring from me.
Serious, yeah?
Serious. Yeah, it was a 1 carat 65. Very, very beautiful.
Beautiful. See, that's what it's about, Barry. Well, there's no rule of thumb as to what you should spend on an engagement ring, right? It's what it means when you give it to that special someone.
Well, first of all, if you spend 1 to 3 months on a diamond engagement ring and you have any debt whatsoever, you're not doing yourself or your relationship a good favor, because all you're doing is mounting debt upon debt upon debt. And there are financial rules to go by, and if you want, I'll share them.
Yeah, I mean, so what should you do when it comes to buying an engagement ring? Sure.
Well, first you got to figure your budget out. And you got to say to yourself, do I have credit card debt? And yes, buying an engagement ring is a very emotional decision, and it should be done with clear head, we hope. But you need to see your financial picture. If you have debt, before you make the jump, get yourself in financial position to be able to support yourself. And the way to do this is you review your expenses, you review everything that you need on a monthly basis, and then you review your debt. And if you have debt, I suggest you wait. Nobody is taught in elementary school, high school, college how to make a budget. So in order to make a budget, you have to list all your expenses, list your things you like to do, list the things you have to do, get a haircut, buy food, pay your utilities, your rent, your mortgage. And then if you have excess, you have to save it. And it's not just having excess, but you take your net salary, take 10% of your net salary, live on 90%, and save 10% until you have 6 months living expenses put aside. And this is not just my rule. This is a rule by many, many people. This is a rule by the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the issue of Totally Money Makeover, Dave Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
These are people that say live on 90% of your income, save 10%, build up a cash reserve of 6 months emergency expenses, and at that point, you'll be free to do anything you want, and you're no longer living hand to mouth. And I got to tell you, the statistic is that a vast majority of Americans wouldn't have $400, and they'd have to borrow it for an emergency.
I believe it.
And this is what causes financial stress. So now we're at a different point. Now we say we have our 6 months living expenses in a bank account. There are two things you do. With the excess, you start putting aside money to invest in something. I can't tell you what it is. That would be your job. And at this point, you could do it. And the second thing you start to do is start to look for that special ring for that special person. And then you decide on your budget.
Gotcha.
And, That's how you get to that point.
When it comes time to buy an engagement ring, Barry, do you sometimes, because sometimes I'll see couples go out ring shopping together and maybe they're picking out the wedding bands together, but is it out of the question? Because a lot of times you want an engagement to be a surprise, but do you see sometimes someone will maybe ask the potential fiance what sort of jewelry she likes, or maybe actually bring her to the store? Have you seen that?
I see it all the time. I have couples coming into me all the time. And yeah, it's wonderful to be surprised, but how'd you like to surprise somebody with a ring they didn't like?
Surprise, right? Right.
You know, I know if I give my wonderful wife, Nancy, a piece of jewelry, I let her choose from 2 or 3 pieces. But I'm in the jewelry industry, so, you know, it's a different story. I know but I did surprise her with the diamond ring I gave her, which is a 1-carat square fancy yellow.
Nice.
Diamond. And then we custom made a design around it. But
very nice.
Yeah.
You know, I see people, Barry, that are in, they do hair and makeup and beauty, and a lot of times when they go to see a stylist, they'll bring along like a picture from, a tabloid or some sort of fashion magazine, and they say, oh, this is the hairstyle I want, or this is the makeup, this is how I want to look. Do you sometimes people bring you like magazine pictures of jewelry and say, do you have anything that looks like this? Does that happen a lot?
That happens all the time.
Is that helpful?
In fact, it's very helpful. I wish more people would do it. I wish people would take pictures out of magazines, take things. Because I have, with the computer industry today, we can, I won't say duplicate because we never duplicate a piece exactly, but we can, because that's copyright infringement or patent, trademark infringement. I'm not exactly sure what it is. But we can make something very, very similar to whatever you love. And we have computer-guided images. We have jewelers who make models. And it usually takes between custom make a ring 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4.
Okay.
And the matter of fact, the couple that I went to last night had a picture, and we've been trying to come up with something similar. And I found some really lovely things, but they actually want to see the ring before they pick the diamond, which is really a good idea also.
Yeah, that makes sense, too. It seems like there's a lot of engagements typically happen like the end of the year around the holidays. Do we see a spike, Barry, in engagement proposals and things in the springtime? Maybe, it's nice weather, people are happy, and people are getting out again. Do you see like an increase in maybe engagement ring purchases around the springtime?
Around May, June, we usually do. Yeah, and also around the holidays. People want to gauge for the holidays or New Year's.
All right, but the whole 1 to 3 month salary, that's an old method of thinking. You shouldn't think that way.
You should. You know what? If you spend 1 to 3 months and you have debt, you've just driven yourself into more debt.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Just don't do it. I'm the last person in the world to tell you to get into further debt because you're in love.
Right. And I wonder how many people say, well, don't worry about it because, at the wedding, we're going to have a line of people. They're all going to walk up with envelopes so we could buy 20 rings with the money that we're going to get. But why start off on the wrong foot with a debt? You're right.
Yeah. Well, the lifestyles of the rich and famous say different, but again, they are the rich and famous.
Yeah, I don't know what Kanye West makes in 3 months, so I don't know what ring that was.
Probably makes more in one show than we do in a lifetime.
I think he had his engagement party at the stadium where the San Francisco Giants play baseball. I think he rented that out to do an engagement party there. But
what do he have, 30,000 of his closest friends?
Something like that. Yeah, a little different plateau than the rest of us, but customized, redesigning, and unique and individual rings. Someone can come in and you can make that happen, right? That is so cool.
Yes, even though we sell estate jewelry, one of the things we do customize is custom engagement rings. Now, if you have an old diamond, I can also make a suggestion that we can design something around the old cut diamond, we can recut the old cut diamond, or we can buy it from you to use as credit towards the new diamond ring. And one rule is when you're making a trade, make the deal on the new diamond, get the new diamond ring first, like a used car. Make the deal on what you're buying first, and then bring up the fact that you have a diamond to sell.
Oh, so do it then. So kind of go in reverse. Go work out the deal for the new one first.
Don't even mention that you have a diamond to sell. You want to work out the best deal you can with what you're buying. Then you bring in. If you're trading in a car, don't tell the deal you're trading in a car. Buy that. Get the best deal on the new car and say, oh, by the way, I have this this Maserati convertible. I'm joking.
Right. All right. So it makes sense for cars and do it for jewelry and diamonds then too. Why not? Remember,
really does.
National Estate Jewelry Buyers, they make you an offer. An expert never asks how much you want. It's unethical. They simply don't do that at National Estate Jewelry Buyers. Stop in Route 18 in East Brunswick, right next to FedEx office. You're going to work with true professionals when you go there. Remember, every Tuesday, the free evaluation days are continuing. You can make an appointment or just stop by and say hello. The number to call is 732-257-GOLD. Barry, great to speak with you today, and forget about the 3-month thing. I learned that today. So enjoy your stay in Florida there, and we'll talk next week, and I really appreciate the time today.
Me too. Have a great week.